So here are the video instructions for fixing up my website and redesign. Thank you for helping me. So the first thing we do is if we load the screen, it takes a little bit of time to load sometimes, and now because it's actually in my cache, it's actually a bit faster. But sometimes this image here takes a long time to load, and like the bigger images also do, so it looks a bit unprofessional, and rather that be like pretty much instantaneous loading. So faster load time for the images and the website in general is the first key thing. The second thing is better responsiveness in general. This is another big issue I'm having. So for example, if I make this smaller, what I can see is this doesn't scale that great. Sometimes it's okay, but then sometimes it just suddenly changes size, and it's even worse for things like, if we go down to here, like it starts adjusting things, these aren't aligned anymore, and this one is especially bad. They suddenly get so big, and this one isn't aligned properly in the center anymore. And then this one here, for example, suddenly just becomes like this. There's too much space on the side, so it doesn't scale very responsibly. And I would like you to possibly try to fix that for all the issues across all the different pages where there's problems, going from full desktop and scaling down all the way to mobile size. So in terms of the design, my color palette I will share with you. There's two main colors, light blue and dark blue. I'll send you the hex keys for that. Ideally, I would like the website to use shades of blue and white and possibly grey. Those are my YouTube primary colors, and perhaps you can get rid of the orange like this text here, but I still would like to keep this kind of like animation style. It changes color when I'm hovering over it. Use your discretion to make it look as professional and neat as possible. Ideally, I would like it to look similar to something like this, the kind of like fonts and colors involved. It's kind of just one primary color and the rest is white or grey, and I'll just like to keep that similar as well. That is it for the colors. In terms of fonts, again, I would like you to just base it off the fonts that you see here. Try to keep it more consistent as possible. Avoid like too many different fonts. Yeah, just keep everything consistent, and ideally I would like to use this kind of font that Ali Abdal is using in academic, this one, or his personal website, which is this one. So that is with the fonts. And the style, ideally I wouldn't like these sharp edges, I'd like to curve the corners around here. So basically all the images are in a folder, like all the images that you see here on the website are already in the WordPress itself. You can also go to like, I don't know where it is actually, but it will be uploaded in there, maybe in the library. Yeah, it's all in here. You can also go play around. I'll share you the whole folder which has all the other kind of graphics that I've used, and you can also play around to fix the responsiveness issues. You can play around with changing things like using images instead, but it will basically be a combination of all the things you see here. You can like move things around like this. You can change the font and the colors, maybe change this to blue as well to keep it the same. And basically all the information and things you can play around with are in here. Primarily it's this one and this one you'd be looking at. Maybe change the colors for the backgrounds. So yeah, sometimes it doesn't load automatically. It's sometimes even a lot slower, like takes a whole second. Now with the specific pages, with the home page, the first thing is just like better styling overall. Ideally, I'd like these icons, these three, the YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, to be slightly larger than they are currently. Change the dimensions of these images, so these three images here, to be square. And maybe like not keep if I highlight them to be red, but change it to like blue. Change them to square, so like a bit shorter than they are currently, and curve the edges of the images, and make sure that everything is centered. So right now this isn't centered. This doesn't look like it's centered. These, yeah, maybe center all these. And again, with the responsiveness issue, yeah, sometimes like this one goes on to the next line. Ideally, I'd like these three to all be in one line and all this to be centered as well. So I don't want this to be slightly higher than this button, but like keep all these three in a kind of line. The embedded videos, ideally, I wouldn't like to just have an image. If possible, I'd like to have it something like this, where there's like a YouTube button over it and they can hover. Or like, for example, I go here. Basically have this kind of like embedded video rather than just an image. And maybe watch on YouTube and whatever like this. So it looks a bit more professional than just an image like that. Again, style fonts based off Ali Abdal's, which is this one here. Yeah, so fix the responsiveness issue on the home page that I showed earlier. Basically make sure that everything transitions smoothly if you're on mobile, tablet or desktop, and the images are scaled correctly. So for the affiliate links as well, like these two, OddsJam and Bonus Bank, keep them dynamic because I might in the future add like a third sponsor and keep these all three in line if possible, and maybe add some text at the bottom. Just make it look a bit more professional rather than just two images slapped on there. And ideally keep them all the same size. So the next one is and basically, yeah, I don't want to have this kind of image just chucked in here. It looks a bit unprofessional. Change the style of everything possibly a little bit. The next thing is and yeah, again, curved edges so it doesn't look as sharp and just like a rectangle slapped on it. The next page is the About page. Yeah, sometimes take a bit of time to load. But basically just make it look cleaner than what it currently is. Like maybe remove the sections and like the ugly grey kind of section here and change the orange font to something else. Orange color to something else and change the font to Ali Abdal's. Ideally I would want it to look something clean like this one here. Maybe add some like graphics. Remove those two different sections. Or Ali Abdal's About page, which is just this one here. Nice, clean and simple. So my one currently has a bit like just the main sections I'd ideally avoid, and then again curve the edges of the images. So also ideally you can add some like icons just from online or from the WordPress, kind of like icons like these. Just make sure they're consistent, or like these icons, like just even these basic ones are fine. But just add some of those to the About page to keep it less just texty. The next page is the courses. Ideally I like to change this not from remove the S to just course, because there's only one course. So this button here currently takes me to the product page to sign up, but ideally I would just like this to be sign up instead of go to product to sign up. Change this button and it should just add this item to cart right away instead of having to press add to cart again, which is an extra step for the customer. And for this basically course page, I'd like you to base it off the Academy, aliabdal.com, so it's part-time YouTuber Academy page. I like to use the same styling as what you can see here. Lots of nice information presented in a nice clean manner. And I just want my page to also look very similar to his, so probably not have like this ugly banner here, have it like a small section, and like, yeah, again, this responsiveness, it's kind of cutting off the image as well. It only works slightly, yeah, again, cutting off the image. It looks good like this, but like if I make it smaller, it doesn't look too good. So some of the key things I'd like to see are like perhaps more icons. Here I'd probably like some color rather than just two gray things, like probably a tick and probably a cross for here. Just nice cartoony icons, kind of like his, and some icons like maybe like these for parts of it. Like by the end of the 5-week course, I have something similar. What can you expect to get out of it by the end of the course? Maybe have some icons between these. And here's like a part on the curriculums, which is like something like this, week 1, week 2, and it can expand out. I'd like to see something similar on mine, which like here in lesson 1 and lesson 2, ideally I like these be expandable like Ali's one currently is, and fix the responsiveness of the images overall. For my reviews, ideally I'd like to have a carousel, because I might have more reviews in the future. Right now there's only 2. But basically, it will be animated, and like you can slide every few seconds, or like you can click and it'll go to the next review and so on. But just have like a carousel for the different reviews, and like maybe there might be 4, and you can have 4 dots at the bottom to represent that. But yeah, again, add some more icons to make it look less monotone, and just like basically a whole bunch of monochromatic text. And yeah, this is the exact same as the one in my homepage. The other useful tools are my affiliates. For the shop page, I would like to name shop. I would like to rename it to resources, and redesign the page to be the same as the other pages, and again curve the edges for the buttons, so like a little round edge here, not too much, not like a circle, but like a small curved edge so it's not too sharp. And fix the responsiveness, as these should all be in line even if this one has less text. Yeah, these aren't in line, it looks a bit unprofessional. Ideally I'd like to change the font and colors as well to like maybe just straight up black. Use your own discretion, and ideally I'd like to see the reviews here as well, like maybe 5 stars, 4 stars. But for the products that do have reviews, just put them, otherwise just leave them blank or empty. And ideally I like those stars to be like cartoon style stars, so just nice yellow stars with like a black outline or something simple like that, not too fancy. Just keep them yellow or gold is a nice color. So yeah, keep everything in line, not having this like out of line add to cart buttons. Ideally I'd like to also have a search function, so like search for your product here or something like that, and also like a sort. So right now the sports betting resources and the study resources are like right next to each other as the first 2 items. Ideally I like to have them somewhere like here on the top. So something like this page where they have these 2. I just want 2, so it would be sports betting resources, study resource, and they can click on that and should navigate to the respective pages. So it'd be like this. And ideally I'd like try to fix this because kind of maths and English resources are covered by the study resources, so it'd be like subcategories if possible. Yeah, so ideally for that I'd also like to have the different colored buttons like here, just the 2, so maybe purple for sports betting resources and blue for study resources. So also one thing with the mobile version, the cart icon kind of disappears. So if you can see here, there's a cart, but if I go to a mobile version like this, there's no cart. Ideally I like to still have it like here somewhere, like a cart, so people can know how to check out. The other pages are like the product page. So if I go to any product page, it doesn't look very centered. It's just a bit off to the side. Ideally have that centered. And as mentioned, I would like to see PayPal and checkout as options as well when I go to the like what I showed, what you sent earlier and we confirmed earlier in the chat. Other than that, let me know if you have any questions. And the last thing is just some better SEO. So for people searching on Google, sports betting tips, arbitrage sports betting, and sports betting strategies. I'd like the SEO improved for that as well, so it can rank high in search. Other than that, that's about it. Let me know if you have any questions or anything's unclear. Thank you very much.